Good afternoon, YouTube viewers. Happy Thursday afternoon. This is Walt with Making Things Happen. And 74 Nova Reclaimed. We're with both of those channels. And right now, we're going to post this one here on 74 Nova Reclaimed because that's what we're working on. We finally got some air shocks. Instead of eBay, we took the route of going O'Reilly's, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. I'm going to see if I can get you focused in and show you what I got to do to get this thing going. I got you running off a battery box because my phone's not worth nothing, and it's a Hart brand battery box, a little power inverter with USB, and that's what's keeping the charge live so my phone won't die. So just bear with me for a minute, and I'm going to go get some tools, and I'm working on this side right here. We're going to jack the back end up real quick. Wish we could do a time lapse, but I don't know how to do editing or time lapse. Alright, should be putting blocks up underneath the front end of it so it don't roll backwards on me. So I think we'll do that. And what we got for replacement air shock right now is going to be Monroe brand air shocks. I've been kind of anxious about getting a good set of air shocks that I could brag on from a company I could brag on, or even a distributor I could brag on. And that goes for all my parts because I like dealing with usually the same vendor. But these are pretty good looking units. They're Monroe's. I'll leave the part number, I'd say, in the description, but I don't even know how to do that. So let me show you what I'm working with. I have absolutely no shock on there right now, and I rode to town like this. Let's see, I gotta mount it in those two holes right up there. The T-post goes in, and then down here I got that bracket right there that the lower unit sits in, right up in here. So I think what I'll do is mount the lower one first. I'm going to set y'all up right here and try not to get in the way of the camera, and maybe it'll grab that block there. And not that I'm in a speed race, because I want to do this right, but I also want to make sure that I do a proper installation, which would be putting my air fitting aiming towards the back of the vehicle. And I have my hardware sitting nearby. It's a matter of reaching over for it. I hope everybody's doing okay today, and I've been just staying busy. I painted the other Nova just to kind of see what it would look like, and it looks pretty darn good. Alright, I'm going to mount the lower end first. I'm going to go get a light so y'all can see what I'm doing, because I can't even see what I'm doing. Where's the light? Alright, found the spotlight. I guess the spotlight will have to work. I can set it up hopefully and it'll aim right on what I'm working on. Maybe. Maybe, baby. There we go. If I didn't have this bad habit of smoking, I might actually be able to get something done without burning my eyeballs up. But I'm going to mount the lower unit first. They make proper tools for what I'm doing, so I suggest you don't use your hand unless you want a stone bruise. Use your fist for hitting a shock in the spot. It just don't make sense, and then you hurt all night. But do something to make it fit right. Retract it a little bit, and there we go. Went right in like butter. As they say, like butter. But yeah. I don't know how to get you the best shot. All I'm doing is putting a bolt in right there. That's bright light blinding me. But that's my spotlight instead of my work light. And then what I've been using, because I have a spacing issue with my shocks, is a bunch of nuts and bolts, or rather nuts and 2 long bolts. I'm using a 1/2 inch thread, or not 1/2 inch thread, but 1/2 inch head, and I believe it's a 5/16 bolt, about 4 inches, 4.5 inches long. And what it's going to do is put me quite a bit of gap right there. I shouldn't really need it. I should try it without it first, but from my experience, to get these shocks up off the tires, I'll need these spacers. And I don't have no pieces of pipe cut, so I'm going to attempt to put these on like I did last time. And it was kind of tricky. I went with 3 big ones, and then I'm going to do, I think, probably three little ones. Push the shock way down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Well, I went with 3 big ones, and I've got 5 little ones. We'll see what that does. That should give it quite a bit of clearance for clearance. And yeah, it leaves me with about maybe 3/4 of an inch of thread sticking out. So if I can get this started up in here, up in here, then I'm gonna have a bunch of nuts made up for a spacer. And like I said, what I would really like to have is a piece of 1/2 inch pipe would probably work excellent. 2 pieces of 1/2 inch steel pipe, galvanized or black iron, and you just cut them to length at about 4.5 or 4 inches, whatever I got for spacers. But this is actually going smoother, y'all, than what I planned. Usually I'd be fumbling all these nuts and hardware, and I feel kind of a little bit more comfortable because I'm talking to y'all and trying to explain to you how to go about doing this if you're taking on this little task yourself. And I just got to remember the count of the hardware I used. And I got 1 big one, so I'm going to go through here. I guess you can see through here with 1 big one. Then I got 2 lug nuts. And this hardware gets expensive. A piece of steel pipe will be a whole lot cheaper. 2 lug nuts, and then I had, I think it was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I got 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then put the 5th one up there, and that's when they all tumble out and you've got to pick up a bunch of nuts that are laying on the floor. Just try not to do that, because the first shot I done this with, it took me over a half an hour to get the bolts lined up and the nuts lined up, and it took a lot of patience to get all this stuff threaded up and started. And it might still take patience the way it's looking, I don't know. Yeah, I gotta go up with the shock some. There we go. Now I can feel the threads. And if you turn the wrench for a while, usually what happens is you can, in spots that you can't see, sometimes you can feel what's going on. And you can feel if your bolt's starting. This one started all right. And it's threading good. I've got at least 3 threads in it. And this one here, it started all right, but it hung up. So I'm gonna make sure it's not cross-threaded. And try to get it started again, because the last thing I want to do is cross-thread it. Because then with these right here, you have a certain amount of actually it's just threaded right into the frame, so it's not good at all if it cross threads. It's grabbed and it's doing good right there. I don't like the sight of all these nuts, but then again, I'm kind of nuts, yo. So but yeah, that's how I went about putting my own little shock extensions on there, because what went on was, even with a set of air shocks, I'm running 255 70 15s, I believe. And what happened with those 255 70 15s is the fender come down on top when this air shock lost its air due to a manufacturer defect. What I suggest you do when you go to buy a pair of air suspension shocks is fully extend your shock from top to bottom. What I done was I just kind of made a fun joke of it at O'Reilly's and had Josh help me out. Mr. Josh grabbed one end and I grabbed the other, and we played tug of war. And we got the shock extended. And after we got that shock extended, I was able to feel the boot and make sure there was no wires protruding through that boot. I should have known something the first time when I got that air shock off of eBay and it had a wire sticking through. I should have known any wire sticking through was going to have air. But I guess it's built like a steel belted radial tire, and it's got steel belts in it, and it just popped the belt, so it popped a little hole in there, and I could spray it down with a mist of water. I got it on one of my videos from the past there, a little video clip, and you can see, I believe the video's listed shock manufacturer defect or something like that. But yeah, that's right there how I put that on. And also what I have now is a piece of line that goes from here to the back, and I'll get that real quick. But as I was saying, with these shocks, you got a T-post on that end, so I'm going to set that end down, put it up under my toes, and extend the shock as far as you can get it out. And then just feel the surface up in here, all up in this rubber boot. You get, it looks like they paint it with paint, but you always feel that surface up in there. Make sure there's no wire sticking through. And like I said, had I had sense in the first place, I wouldn't have made the mistake and put the one defective one on there. I would have sent it back, and this situation could have been resolved 2 months ago. Instead, my dumb butt went and ordered another set of air shocks from the same company, because we ended up getting the other Nova. And I thought, well, I'm going to need them anyway. But I didn't have the other Nova at the time. I just thought about getting it. And I needed something for these because I tore my tires up. So anyway, plan backfired. Point is, I screwed myself. time wise. And money wise, it costs a little bit more getting it from O'Reilly's, but it does have a lifetime warranty through O'Reilly's. If I ever have a not a manufacturer defect, but failure to it, then I could bring the shock back to O'Reilly's and it's got a lifetime warranty. So I would think, with that being said, that the lifetime warranty should replace the shock. Now what I'm looking for is my airline for the shock. I bought a big roll of it, so I think I'm just going to use it. Air shock hoops. Y'all, I don't mean for a boring video, because I should done have this fixed. But anyway, what I'll do is, this is running into 20 minutes, so I'm going to cut this video off, y'all. Once again, I'm going to post this on 74 Nova Reclaimed, and I want to thank y'all for watching. My spotlight just went dead, so it's a sign. Y'all have a good evening. God bless.